Hello students, Sims Huff Company 180 Studios presents our first recorded lesson of this Module 5. I'm hoping this will help things go a little bit smoother. We're going to open up on page 68 of our student books. And in this video we're going to start with an example, we're going to pause, you're going to have a discussion for a little bit, and then we're going to move on with a couple of examples. So in 11.1 on page 68, we talk about notice and wonder, comparing heights. So in a moment, I'm going to have you pause this video, and you're going to answer a couple of questions to yourself, and then you're going to share it with somebody near you. First question is, what do you notice about this information, and what do you wonder? Well, first, let's talk about what is this information. This is a representative of something called a dot plot. All right, and you've seen these before, at least that's what the other students have said so far that we've done this. And what it basically means is that each dot on the dot plot represents a data value. So each dot, and sometimes they use X's as a place as well. Each dot represents a value. So basically, the women's gymnastics team, the height in inches, so this is the scale. Okay, here is also the scale, height in inches. All right? So what this basically means is that there is one girl on the team that's 56 inches tall. One girl on the team that's 59, one girl that's 60. Okay, and when you get the ones, when you have multiple, so this means that there are two girls, 62 inches, three girls at 63 inches, two girls at 64, one at 68, and one at 69. That's what the dots represent. All right, for the men's volleyball team, same thing. Okay, 72, this is 1 at 73, 2 at 76. This means that there are 3 at 81. Okay, so you're going to answer the question, what do you notice, what do you wonder? You're going to answer this question to yourself, and then we're going to share and have a small discussion. So go ahead and hit pause on the video now. Okay. All right, so now we've had the discussion, we'll move on to 11.2. More team heights. So basically what we've done here is I've taken the information in the two dot plots above and we've put it down into numbers and actually wrote the values of that. So these are still the same. So it's very clear and very evident up here that it might be obvious that, oh, the men's volleyball team is significantly taller than the women's gymnastics team. So now we're going to answer the question, how much taller is the volleyball team than the gymnastics team? Okay. Well, in order to figure out how much taller the team is, we have to, a lot of different ways you could look at this. We're going to look at the center of the data, the center value. And there are two measures that we use most frequently to determine that center. One is called the mean. Might look familiar. The mean is the mathematical average. Kind of similar to how your grade is calculated in this class. It's based on an average. That is the mathematical middle. Okay? And then the other is called the median. And the median is the middle value of the data. Okay? So in this first example, what I'm going to do is I'm going to model for you how to find, or review, could be review, how to find the mean and the median for both. And we're going to use them to compare. All right, so we're going to split this up into G for the gymnastics team and V for the volleyball team. And we're going to find the mean. And we're going to find the median. Okay? The mean is definitely harder than the two to calculate. So in the mean, okay, and maybe you remember this, the mean is you take the sum of all of the values and you divide it by how many values there are, the number of values. All right, so the first step is going to be writing out the sum of all of these numbers. Now, you do need to show some work, but here's what I need to see at the very least. Show me the number that you're going to put on top. Because if you make a mistake, which is easy enough to do because you're adding all these values together, all right, then I can know that you just added wrong. All right, it's very easy to do. You got to be very careful here. All right. So you're going to add all these values up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's 12 of them, so that's the number that's going to be on the bottom. All right. So go ahead and take a minute and add those values up. for the purposes of saving some time in this video, you should get 753 when you add those all up. So then you take 753, and we're going to divide that by 12, and we get 62.75. That is the average height of the girls' gymnastics team. All right. Now the median's much easier to find. It's the middle. So the middle number. So it's finding the middle of where this is. So if you count this out, there's 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so there are 6 that are below that line and 6 above that line. So that means that your mean, or your middle, is between 63 and 63, which is just 63. So that's the median of that. All right, going to the volleyball team. The mean divided by the number, or the, sorry. We want to find the mean, apologize. It's the sum divided by the number. All right. There are 12 values, same as the gymnastics team. There were 12 dots up above. Okay. And if I add them all up, this number I get 938. If you add those all up. And you may have to really just take your time and make sure that you add 2 79s. It's very easy to miss numbers when you got a bunch of them there. Okay. But this is the minimum required work. We need to see this work here. All right, so 938 divided by 12 is 78.16. So that is the mean. All right, now the median, just like here, we're going to find where the middle is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's a couple different ways you can find that middle. In the middle, we got 6 below, we got 6 above. So the middle value would be those put together. All right. So the median would be 79. All right. So then the question is, do we use the mean or the median? And there are times when you're going to use the mean that's going to be more appropriate, and there are times that you're going to use the median. We'll talk about that in a later class. Right? But if you notice, they're not that far off. The mean and the median are the same here. Okay, the mean and the median are kind of the same here. Right? So let's just look at the means. The difference, hey, remember, how much taller is the volleyball team? So we take 78.16, and we're going to take away 62.75. Save you some math, it's 15.41. So say on average, the volleyball team is about 15 inches taller. If you subtracted the medians, you would have gotten 16, which is still in that ballpark. All right, and there's something to be said about that data. All right. Top of the next page, and I'm going to start this problem off, and then I'm going to have you guys finish it to be the conclusion of this video. We're going to make some dot plots. And you're not going to be asked to do this very often, at least not now, but at least if you have to make one, then you can kind of have an understanding of what dot plots represent. Compare the heights of the tennis and badminton teams. So we have 2 different teams, tennis and badminton. This may not be as clear to see what the taller team is. This might not be as obvious just by looking at the numbers. So we might have to make a little adjustment. So we're going to make a dot plot. And if you are comparing, here's the thing. You have to have the same scale. Right? If you go back to the original problem we did, notice that, yeah, we could have stopped this about here because there were no values above this point. Okay? But then we could have started this one here because there are no values below that. But if you would have done that, you would have ended up with these under this, and you might not have noticed the difference in the two, all right, without looking at the scale. All right, so then we're going to use the same scale. So to find the scale, you find the lowest value in both data, 62, the highest value, 76, and then we're going to use that scale to make 2 lines. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with 2s. I'm going to start at 62, and I'm going to start by writing the numbers. 62, 64, 66, 68, 70, 72, 74, 76. And I'm going to make my number line go right above that. Put it in there, put it in there. All right, so this is 62, 64, 66, 68, 70, 74, 76. I probably shouldn't have put these there. All right, I'm going to do another one because we're going to compare both. And we want it to be the same scale. And I'm even going to try to line them up under each other. 62, 76, 64, 64, 66, 68. Don't worry about the lines not being exactly. All right, what did I miss? All right. And then what you're going to do is you're going to put dots above. So this is going to be tennis, this is going to be badminton. So here, 66, put a dot above 66. 67, put a dot above 67, which would be between 66 and 68. A dot above 69. A dot above 70. A dot above 71, which would be here. 2 dots at 73, so one over the other. 1 dot at 74. 2 dots at 75. 1 dot at 76. All right, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to end this here. You're going to finish the one for the badminton, and then you're going to answer this question and answer this question. All right, so for 180 Studios, this is Mr. Sims signing off.